The show is about to start with lots of stories about Pooh and a Christmas heart. When it comes to Joanne, no, you won't find no fault. But if you mess with the bull, you might get the Schultz. It's time for Morning. It's Morning with Bill and Joe. It's time for Morning. It's gonna be a holly jolly show. It's Bill and Joe.
Good morning and welcome to Morning with Bill and Joe. I'm Joe.
I'm not Bill. Welcome back, Joe. Trying to see here. Nice tan.
Oh, yeah. I did go to Florida, although that was like a week ago.
Well, I haven't seen you for 2 weeks.
Yeah. I did go in the sun. It was beautiful weather. Jupiter, Florida. Man, they a lot of old people.
Okay.
A lot of money in Jupiter too.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been to Jupiter, planet or Florida. Tell me everything. How was it?
It was great. I was only there for 3 days, but I had beautiful weather. Rented a car, stayed at a hotel, the Jupiter Waterfront Inn. Very nice.
Good plug.
It's on like a little inlet, I guess. And there was a pool, which was nice. Very large room, nice staff.
Did the inlet have outlets?
It did, but they were placed strangely throughout the room. God, driving in Florida is wild. You're just expected to cut across like 7 lanes of traffic.
Oh, yeah.
If you want to make a left turn and then there's no traffic light, and it's just wild. But, I drove safely, managed to pump my own gas before I returned the car.
Very good.
For those who don't know me at all, I am from New Jersey, so I've never pumped my own gas.
Of the many scams they have going there.
And in Queens, I live by a full-service gas station, so it's like I never have to. But I figured it out. It's not that hard.
Good girl.
Yeah. The show was great. So Douglas was really great in the musical once. He performed it more than once. And the audience, though, was so old. They had, like coat check? Well, they had walker check. They were giving everyone tickets and taking their walkers and putting them in a special closet.
Wow. That's like a Saturday Night Live sketch.
It was nuts.
Did they look at you sideways like, who is this young little whippersnap? Like, how is she not the help? What is going on here?
Honestly, I'm not sure that their eyesight was so good for them to notice. When I went on a Saturday night, you would think that would be maybe the more lively bunch. I was the youngest person by 30 years. I think the second youngest was about 65 years old.
This is like me when I go to the Roosevelt House.
Some people were leaving at intermission because they were tired. And apparently, I didn't notice this at first, but Douglas goes, no one was clapping. So typically, after a big, song and dance number, audiences applaud. They applaud for what they just saw. None of it. Phones are going off because no one remembers to turn off their phones. Then when it goes off, they can't figure out how to turn it off. It's just...
Oh, man.
It's an SNL skit, like, waiting to happen.
It really is. Wow. Well, would you guys... how much time off did he have to, like, do fun things? Sounds like you were probably on your own a bit.
We just really went out to, like, restaurants or bars that were on the water, which was super nice.
Nice.
And then we just hung out by the pool, which was really all I wanted.
Yeah, oh God, yeah. Man, I'd kill for that right now.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Just like, God, palm trees. They're fucking weird, but delightful.
Very delightful. I assume with lights on them at this time of year.
Yeah, but the people who only wrap the base of the palm tree, I'm like, you can't... The shaft. You can't do a little more effort and have it look like an exploding shaft. You stop at the top.
Remember the age limit there, or demo, I should say, I guess.
Yeah.
That seems to be a lot of effort.
Yeah, so I had a nice little jaunt, and now it's just back to gross New York City.
It's only getting worse. Yeah, and today it's going to be just cold rain, man. Oh, boy. There is just nothing worse. That's all
Yeah.
it's been. Yeah.
How was your fun run?
Oh, wow. Good memory. I was good. Yeah, it was fine. If you'd given me enough of if I'd known you were going to bring it up, I would have. Well, you can kind of see in the background there. It's right next to there's my donut run medal right there. Everyone gets a medal. But it's right underneath.
How did you do? What was your time? Did your nephews beat you?
I beat my nephews, which I don't know if it's a good thing. They are young bucks, and I'm in the latter years of my life. Probably about 2-3 years left. And yeah, I don't think my time was that great, but Henry had never done one before, even though he is played for JV basketball. And Teddy is in cross country. I was very adamant, and it was not false modesty. I'm like, guys, when you don't try to stick with Uncle Bill here, I want you guys to, really try. Like, I don't want to slow you down, and I didn't. I don't know what the standards are these days, but again, it's like I've got a horrible pace. I'm on the bad side of 49, and yeah,
well, maybe they were just
quite ahead of them.
Maybe they were just having fun, and they didn't need to win.
I was not. I was having fun. I mean, I wasn't going all out either. I was enjoying looking at the old homes and stuff like that. But next thing you know, we finish, and we're waiting some time for that.
I like to imagine that it's you and just like a bunch of teenagers doing this, and you just like smoked all of them, and then there's a podium at the end, and it's just like you at the top, and like an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old.
And I'm just talking out of the side of my mouth. You
yeah.
Well, you know who I got a hug from after the race?
Who?
Our own Patrick Wilson.
Oh, that's nice.
Who's you used to work with your co-star, Emmy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they were in Phantom of the Opera together. But yeah, that was my star sighting for the day. He hugged me, which I very much took, and he's got just lovely arms. I kind of got lost in them, but it was good. You get free donuts afterwards. You would have liked that. And yeah, it was one hell of a donut run. I think I lost my hat though. You got a free stocking hat as well. That's a good tchotchkes.
Was it for charity or anything?
Sure. Still don't remember what it was, but I'm sure it was a good one.
Okay.
Yeah.
But you didn't raise any money?
No.
Okay, I don't know if you know how these work.
Well, I think that's for like marathons and stuff. Like this is like a 5K,
Yeah, you can still raise money for a 5K.
Well, I do whatever charity the donut run was going for.
Probably diabetes.
Yeah, that would be a good one. But yeah, it was fun.
Nice.
Yeah. I would have rather have been in Florida.
Yeah, I won.
Yeah, you did.
Not the race, but life.
The race of life, you did win. So wait, how was the travel period?
Fine. Yeah,
we're in the middle area
airplanes.
where nobody is. This is actually probably a good time to travel. When you think about it, because who's going to travel between Thanksgiving and Christmas?
That is the thing. I was looking at a lot of the other people, and I'm like, where are you going? What do you have going on? Do you have jobs? Like, what are you doing? Like, I don't.
It'd be great if they were all going to Douglas's play.
Yeah, right. Although something that was super strange to me, I'm sure anyone else who travels doesn't think this, but the flight from LaGuardia to West Palm Beach, I'm getting off the plane, and the pilot's just like kind of standing there saying goodbye to everyone, and he was sort of like a young guy. I would say he was maybe my age, like reddish kind of hair, and so I think that's why he stuck out to me. Well, then on my flight back, pilot's there welcoming people on the plane, same pilot.
Huh.
But they just have their routes, right? I'm sure. Like, he does the West Palm Beach route, and there you go.
Not the kind of climate that's usually good for someone of red hair lineage.
Yeah, well, he's busy flying the plane.
Yeah. You think he'd have a little time off. Slather on the SPF, redheaded pilot. Slather on the SPF.
Sure.
Just like Joe does.
Hey, speaking of vacations, sunshine, Greece.
as good as the segs are gonna get, everyone.
Yeah.
Guys, a former coworker of us both is in the news. And by the way, I know her well enough to tell you that Guilfoyle is not even remotely Greek.
Yeah.
She is, and always talks about it, pretty much half Puerto Rican and half Irish.
Wow.
Talk about a fiery combo. You wouldn't want to wrong someone like that, people. So if you break up with her, give her ambassador position in Greece. The president-elect's son, Donald Trump Jr., not very creative, has given Page Six a statement with regards to the apparent breakup between him and one Kimberly Guilfoyle, former FNC correspondent and a member of the Five. Kimberly and I will never stop caring for each other and will always keep a special bond, Joe. He added of Guilfoyle, who is now headed to Greece, as U.S. ambassador under Donald Trump. I could not be more proud of her and her important role she'll continue to play in my father's administration. Anyone taking baseless and pretty petty fake news cheap shots at her in the tabloids are just embarrassing themselves. Don Jr. continued to Guilfoyle. She's been an undefeated prosecutor, national TV news star, a leader of the MAGA movement, and close advisor to the president. The people of Greece are getting an absolute star, and now the whole world will see it even more than ever. No one on Team Trump has worked harder than Kimberly to help elect and re-elect my father, and no one deserves... I assume he's got dip in his mouth. This ambassadorship more than she does. All right, relax, Donald. Don Jr., 46, and Guilfoyle, 55, have ended their engagement of 4 years. The Daily Mail had recently published images of Don Jr. and Palm Beach socialite Bettina Anderson, 38, holding handsies, added the ease, in public after a dinner at Buchan, I've been there many times, to celebrate her birthday. Don Jr. and Anderson were kissing and holding hands in front of the fellow diners. Don Jr. and Guilfoyle had started dating in 2018, got engaged in 2020. While Guilfoyle has not addressed the split, now I doubt she ever will, she posted of the ambassadorship on X. I'm honored to accept President Trump's nomination to serve as the new ambassador of Greece, and I look forward to earning the support of the U.S. Senate. President Trump's historic victory is bringing home and optimism to the American people and to freedom-loving allies across the world. And Trump and Anderson were first photographed together in September, looking, quote, cozy at Honor Bar in Palm Beach, or was it Honor? Though sources insisted to Page Six at the time that the Trump skyline was still 100% with Guilfoyle. Anderson was also spotted sitting next to Donald Trump and the former Fox News host at the Republican National Convention in mid-July. Weird, though a source told us that the socialite was there because she was friends with Don Jr.'s ex-wife, Vanessa. Wow.
What a weird sticky web of
yes.
Connections.
That is Palm Beach for you right there.
Okay, a few things. Bill, the name Bettina, we got to bring it back.
Bettina? Why?
That's her first name. I never hear it anymore.
I've never heard it.
I love it. I think it's so great.
Well, I feel like your thoughts have lately been changing kid-wise. Put a pin on that. Bettina Goodhart. Oh, it's almost too cute.
I know. What do you think came first, Bill? The appointment as ambassador to Greece or the breakup?
Absolutely the breakup.
Yeah.
And then realizing, what have I done? This, not only is she Irish, she's also Puerto Rican. This is not going to end well for me. Well,
but we can't put her in Puerto Rico or Ireland. Where are we going to put her?
No. As far away as possible. But great climate. Because again, don't want the wrath. We're not going to make her make her the ambassador to Kazakhstan.
Now,
it's got to be someplace nice.
Do you think she is happy with this appointment or no?
That's a good question. I mean, it's Greece. It's like, considering she never actually got the reign on it, to quote a certain song. this is as good of a, a breakup thing that you're gonna get, right?
Yeah.
With or without the prenup. And that's your shut up prize.
I mean, you gotta, in a way, respect Kimberly Guilfoyle because I think this woman has always known what she wanted, and that was success for Kimberly Guilfoyle.
Yes, sure. Yeah.
So she really carved out an interesting path, but a path to get some real clout in this political world. And now she has it with this appointment,
I don't know if we'd call it ambassadorship to Greece clout, but
It's
again, the
something.
beaches. Oh,
I know.
and according to Mamma Mia, everyone just breaks out into song all the live long day, usually via Swiss pop music, but still,
Wait.
it just seems lovely.
Do I want to be the ambassador to Greece? I never thought of it.
What were your interactions with her like?
It was mostly like on elevators.
Uh-huh.
I would run into her or like in hair and makeup. I did Outnumbered. I think when she was on it. Was she ever on it? Now I can't remember.
I'm
I
sure
filled in
she
on the
was.
5, I think, once. And then I guess she was on Red Eye a couple times. But yeah, I had heard that she wouldn't really ever take her makeup off, that she would just sleep like this and then come into work. So she would never have to do it. Like, she didn't want to come into work without makeup on. Most of the other anchors would.
Yes.
Dana Perino. Yes, I've seen her without makeup. A bunch of other women, but never Kimberly Guilfoyle. They would like redo it in the chair for her.
I remember,
so yeah, that's really all I know.
I remember the hair and makeup people laughing at me when they had mentioned some extension thing they had to do or something like that. I'm like, wait, those are extensions? And they just like, are you serious?
Oh yeah, we all wore fake hair.
Yeah, I was always surprised when I would find that out. I for some reason thought that her sort of Jessica Rabbit as a brunette thing that she had going all natural, at least as far as the hair is concerned. But I knew her quite well. She would go. She was a party girl, man. We had a lot of we had a lot of fun. I remember one time we'd always have some fun conversations during the commercial breaks. Even though we were live to tape on Red Eye, we still had to have enough. We still did allotted time for commercials, and we just sort of sit there for as long as the commercials would take. And we kind of left to our own devices. And at one point, she would I remember she told me, she's like, "Are we going out afterwards? Because I'm wearing my single girl panties tonight." And I was like, "It's my kind of girl."
See, that's so funny.
Yeah. I think most of the Trump people are like this people, not as God-fearing and Christian as you might think. And then what was? So I met her and Don Jr. one time. I've told you this story, but I don't know if you remember. Jill Dobson was on the cover of a local magazine, and they had just started seeing each other. And I don't know if you remember this because I never talked about it. I'm very stoic, but there was a point in time where I had broken my hand.
Yes. And you did that saving a small puppy from an accident, right?
Thank you. Yes, yeah. That's how I got it. Can't emphasize that enough. Well done. And this is like a 2-year horror ordeal. But this is when I had finally gotten the full cast on. So it was pretty obvious that it was broken. And I remember I saw her, hugs, the whole bit, having a great time. And, so tall, socially awkward guy right next to her. Immediately I recognized who it was. And I was like, "Oh, hi. Bill, nice to meet you." Donald Trump Jr. is like, "Hi." And raises out his right hand, and I kind of go, and I do my left hand. It's like, yeah. I don't really trust anyone who shakes with their left hand. And I was like, I thought he was kidding. I was like, yeah. And it's like, yeah, you don't want to shake me right. I'm like, I broke my hand, dude. I don't know what to tell you. And Guilfoyle's just sort of like, so anyway. And then just never said anything for like the 20 minutes that she talked. Just sort of sat there, looked around with his super manicured beard. And that was my one and only interaction to a guy that close to the president.
You could work on that impression. You're not far off. I think with just maybe a few more goes, that your junior impression would be good.
It's some simmering anger Like no matter where he is, he should be someplace better. One of those.
Hmm.
And he does the patented Trump. I think they think it gives them more cheekbones. So that's my Donald Trump Jr. story. But so you say good for her, huh?
I do. But it is just so interesting because we are seeing more and more old colleagues of ours getting appointments from
Well,
Trump just
with
because he loves watching Fox News and has, developed relationships with these people over the years. Now, years ago, when Greg and I interviewed Trump,
I gotta find a
before
tape of
he
that.
announced he was running for president the first time,
Right.
Greg had joked, like, what position would you give me? And he had said, I think you'd be a great press secretary. So now I'm almost waiting to hear that Greg gets something.
I love the fact that he went with a Fox News person for press secretary, but it wasn't Greg the first term.
Well, she's a little blonder.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, well, okay, and also, what do you make of? I hate the term unpack, but a lot to unpack about them both at the convention and her right behind them when they're very much still dating. Like, what's going on there? Is he getting off on the fact that his main girl and his Goomba is right next to him on the side? Is that like some sort of weird psychosexual Palm Beach thing he's got going there?
But
What do we
see,
got going? What's that?
if you learned anything from The Sopranos, you have enough respect for your wife or your main girl not to have the girlfriend be in the same room as her. What do they say? Friday nights are for the girlfriend, Saturday nights are for the wife, and never they meet. You at least have a little respect.
But this isn't an Italian-American crime family. This is a German-American crime family. Perhaps they don't have the same respect.
Yeah, I guess not.
But it's a good one. This is very much in what will all of this administration is going to be a Bravo TV series. But right now, this remains the main plot point. Although, how much are we going to hear about a former main player in the Real Housewives of DC now that she's in Greece? Like, I'm worried that now she's out of the picture, right?
And honestly, I feel like that would infuriate her. It would me if I wanted that attention. You're really not going to get much of it now.
I don't know, man. She's now sort of like a side character.
Yeah.
If that. I love the the sympathy sigh. Yeah.
It's unfortunate. Bill, if you were to be
for me, she's single.
If you were to be the ambassador to anywhere, where would you want?
Great question. Well, this will seg nicely into our next story.
Okay.
I would say Dublin, but considering the amount of cold rain we've been dealing with lately, I retract that. I can't take any more than we've already had. But from Greece to Guinness, I hope this only stays in England, people. British pubs are facing something of a crisis. They cannot get enough Guinness.
Ah.
Thank you. Irish beer's parent company, Diageo. Oh, I love their parties. I've invited you to a couple, and you stupidly didn't come.
I'm busy.
Started limiting the number of barrels of Guinness. How is this possible that British pubs and bars can order each week? The black liquid, call it the black stuff, guys, TM. That's their official nickname. The black liquid has surged in popularity on both sides of the Atlantic Ocean in the past year. Once seen as an old-timers beer, the good old days, it has recently become a Gen Z darling. I did not know this. Thanks to savvy marketing, celebrity endorsements, and a viral drinking challenge, influencers and ordinary drinkers alike have been trying to split the G, which means drinking enough in one chug to leave the foam scything the first letter of the branded pint glass. Some were skeptical at first. To be honest, I thought it might have been a PR thing, said Tommy McGuinness, the manager of the Marquee, a pub in London, of the rumors that taps were running dry. Turns out it's real. From July to October, Guinness keg sales were up 21% compared to that same period last year, while overall beer sales were flat. Paul Fletcher, the office manager of Small Beer, another wholesaler, expressed disappointment in an email that Guinness, a quote brand leader, is unable to supply the demand. He only has 60% of what he needs, a shortfall that he called massive for us at this time of year. Some see a potential silver lining, at least for similar beers. There's Murphy's, another Irish stout, and Camden. I've never tried that stout from London. Guinness is always going to be Guinness, said Patrick Fitzsimmons, who owns the Faltering Fullback, a London pub. These names are great. But the shortage has piqued his customers' curiosities about alternatives. I will say, Murphy's, it's a little
What
sweet.
about,
A little
is
sweet for me.
Smithwick's another one?
I don't know if that's a stout. I could be wrong on that. I've had it before. I should remember that.
Yeah, I don't remember. I just remember it's spelled not how you pronounce it.
Yes, yeah. Actually, I guess this should be a let the market decide. This is weird. And also, I'm so upset that this has now become a Gen Z thing. That's, I think, the thing that kills me most. I mean, so far, we haven't had the shortage in the States as we have across the pond. But I think it's probably going to be coming if this is happening in England.
Yeah, I know about that drinking game, and I tried to do it when I was in London.
So this has been going for a while.
I feel like I first learned about it on Instagram from a guest we had on the show. She is Irish. She runs marathons.
Okay.
Remember, we had her on because she talked about when she ran the Philly marathon, she had the shits and it made her time even faster.
I loved her. Yes, yeah. She stopped it like 10 or 15 times or something, but she still ran her best marathon. Yeah.
Yeah, but so yeah, you try to drink it in one sip and then see where it lands. I mean, truly you could do that with any beer, but people, I guess, want to do it with Guinness. I don't know that it's a huge problem. I mean, wouldn't you rather sell out of your product than have tons left over? And also, people will find something else to drink.
It's a problem. It's happening here, and I'm here to tell you. I've been doing some on-the-ground research before I even saw this article, and by that, I went to a lot of bars within the last couple of weeks. And this has never happened before, but not one, two different bars said, yeah, we're out of Guinness. And it was like a record scratch. I was like, it almost woke me up. I was like, what?
Wow.
Like, oh, you mean you're changing the kegs? Like, no, we're just out of Guinness. And I had to, boy, I am the real hero in all this. I had to go and look and see what else they were offering draft-wise. And it was a lot. I think I had a milk stout that wasn't as tasty. But yeah, so this is, I mean, I've had two separate experiences where this has happened in New York. Can't speak for the rest of America. Oh, wait, I can. It's happening everywhere. But yeah, you're saying this is good for Guinness. Of course it is. Forget about the free publicity. Their sales are killing it. But it's not good for me.
Yeah. And
it's not good for Bill Corporate.
The tough thing is, I, being resourceful and cheap as I am, would say, well, just have your favorite drink at home. But Guinness really is best poured from a tap.
Even with the widget, which is this thing that they have in the can that they, and this sounds like another Saturday Night Live sketch. There was a poll done in Ireland about 5-10 years ago, and the widget was voted the number one greatest invention / contribution Ireland has made to the general public. The widget being this sort of thing that they invented and patented, and I don't believe any other beer has it. It's this little ball inside the can that when you open it, kind of makes it taste a little more like it's draft. It doesn't. Nothing's like Guinness on draft, but it's okay. The can one kind of, but yeah.
Well, it's getting to the point where beggars can't be choosers.
Yeah, man. I got a fridge full of 8-packs. So there's that. But boy, yeah, people have got to start hoarding like it's another plague or something. But good for Guinness, I guess.
Yeah.
And I'm getting to the point where it doesn't even sound like it's me, but I'm starting to get a little sick of it. At this point, maybe this will force me to move on. I almost feel now these days as I did when I returned from Dublin, and I was quite literally sweating black because we were there guests of Diageo, and so I wanted to try a whole spectrum of different Irish beers and, of course, whiskeys. But because we were with the Guinness people, you would get quite the side-eyed Joe look where you had a whatever 1,000-year-old pub they were taking us and had the balls to order something besides Guinness. And I've never had more of that in my entire life. And I didn't have it for almost a year after that. And then, luckily, like the hero I am, I got back on
Yeah,
the
well,
train.
maybe our Gen Zers will feel the same. And speaking of them, that's my segue.
Wow.
You know, we always look at the Gen Zers to see what the trends are. You and I, we
Sure.
like to stay current.
You know I do.
And apparently, oh gosh, what are some of the things we have covered? Ghosting, love bombing. Well, there's a new trend called snowballing. Is that what it is? No.
Snow globing.
Snow globing. This is Simone Paget.
Oh, of course. She's quite the Gen Z trendsetter.
Well, from the Toronto Sun, my favorite
Oh.
Canadian trendsetter,
Oxymoron.
writes, "Are you being snow globed this holiday season? The air has chilled, and Mariah Carey's 'All I Want for Christmas Is You' can be heard approximately 37 times an hour." That's a little much. I actually haven't heard it a lot this year. Safe to say we are in the throes of the holiday season. And we have a new dating term, snow globing, initially coined by Cosmopolitan magazine, Bill's favorite magazine and cocktail.
Yes, and yes.
Snow globing refers to what happens when you quickly fall into a relationship around the holidays, only to have it fizzle once the last strands of tinsel have been vacuumed up. Apparently, chief editor at Verpex, a place where they edit things, Julia Lovinov, says marketing and advertising play a significant role in driving this trend. I've seen many companies use the lonely on Christmas narrative to promote their products, making people feel they need someone special to share the holiday with. These campaigns often feature stories of people reuniting with loved ones and finding love during the holidays, or in the case of Hallmark movies, falling in love with a sexy bearded snowman turned human who is secretly Santa Claus's hotter younger brother.
Line, ladies and gentlemen, that I believe we've discussed.
Yeah.
The sexy snowman, that old one.
This amplified emotional landscape can push people to seek companionship, even if their intentions aren't fully grounded. The desire to share in the season's magic can lead to exaggerated gestures or rushed relationships that feel magical at the moment, but lack a solid foundation. A relationship coach, Caden Roberts, says people should watch for grand romantic gestures that seem too big too soon, love bombing, and be mindful if the person they're dating seems to avoid deeper, future-focused conversations. Have a direct conversation about where the relationship is headed. If they dismiss your concerns or seem disinterested in long-term clarity, it's okay to let go and prioritize your emotional well-being. Okay, Bill, as a millennial, we didn't call it snow globing. We called it cuffing season.
It sounds more fun than it is, then. You'd think
Yeah.
cuffing meant something else.
Right? It was when the holidays are approaching, so you wanted someone to snuggle up with for like the cold winter months, and then you get rid of them. Maybe this is more specifically like geared toward the holidays, but I don't think you necessarily want a relationship for the holidays. Then you got to buy them a present. You got to introduce them to family. That's a whole other bag of worms.
Right. No, I didn't get that part either. What this is, I believe, is a friend of a friend did this, and I've done something similar before, but not with as many readers. Did a column for the Times and talked about this hot new trend in Brooklyn called stoop parties. Completely made up. Just
Sure.
talked to a couple of friends so that they would provide the quotes and said, yeah, we're having parties on our stoop. It's a great way to meet the neighbors in the middle of the summer, blah, blah, blah. Totally made up.
I would love a stoop party, though. That sounds fun.
I think you would like it. I'd like to be invited to one. Maybe it's real and they just told me that, so because I wasn't invited. But the cuffing thing, I think, is still the same thing, but they just came up with a new term for it so as to make it look like a hot new trend and sell some Toronto papers. But yeah, I don't get why you would ever want to be in a relationship on the holidays. That's just one more stressful thing to deal with.
Yeah.
Like you said.
You know, we've seen plenty of movies where someone hires someone for their holiday party or their reunion. If you're trying to save face and make it look like you have everything all together, maybe that I understand. But yeah, it really does seem like the worst time, like this or Valentine's Day. It's like, why would you start
Oh,
dating then? Because there's certain expectations.
seriously. Have you ever participated in a cuff?
Um, I have rolled a shirt sleeve, but that's about it.
Nice.
No, well, I sort of did the opposite of cuffing season. What would you call it?
Rebuffing.
Cooling season, where I was dating people who had air conditioning in the summer
Mm.
because I had a window unit and it was expensive to run it. So I would just get my air by staying over at someone else's place.
Smart. Very smart. Um, yeah, you don't strike me as a cuffer just because, again, the effort involved in being in a relationship with Holly. You lost her at effort, people. Um,
Yeah.
but yes, there maybe it's just a Toronto thing, but Snow Globe, and add that
Yeah.
to the new plot twist for next year's round of Hallmark movies.
I mean, I understand the term and why they picked it, right? Like it's just a little bit of magic in a ball, but then you
Paints a
shake it
good
up.
picture.
It looks pretty for 2 seconds, and then you're like, this is boring. I'm going to throw this away.
I wonder if we can consider Donald Trump Jr.'s new relationship a snow globe. I guess they've been together longer. Actually, according to the convention, they've been together for a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
um, well, all right, ladies' choice. Last one. Do you want to do banana phobia, which sounds like a euphemism,
Yes.
or the Goop gift guide?
Let's save the Goop gift guide
Yeah, we got a couple
for next
more.
week.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Banana phobia from
We got a theme here. This one is
snow globes to
from snow globes.
banana.
From snow globes to fruit fears. An Irish cop,
Is there any other kind?
thank you, was arrested after he was accused of harassing a female coworker over her crippling fear of bananas. The arrest happened as a result of a year-long investigation. Do we need that much time for this? Which allegedly accused the officer of using bananas to target his coworker after learning that she had a severe fear of them. The officer would allegedly leave bananas in rooms of the station and cars she would be using. The man reportedly put a banana on his head after he was brought in to have a talk with her about his conduct. The officer, how is this real? The officer was allegedly made disrespectful remarks, sent her barrages of text messages, and broke into her locker. Seems like there's something else going on there too. The severe fear of bananas is known as banana phobia. Wow.
They couldn't come up with a more fun name.
Very literal, those Irish. And it can cause patients to feel anxiety and even develop panic attacks if they become triggered by aspects of the banana, such as its appearance, peel, taste, or smell. The phobia previously made headlines when a Swedish minister
Is my favorite kind of minister.
Better. Thank you for mixing it up. Emailed staff requesting that all bananas be removed from any rooms she uses as she suffered from the same malady. Joe, a lot to unpeel here.
Nice. Okay, let me get to the flesh of it.
Wow.
I don't want to blame the victim, but I might. But I might. If I have a severe phobia of something, I am telling no one.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely no one. Because you have to think about how often is a banana really going to be in my presence? Probably not that often. Maybe in the morning, someone might bring one as a part of their breakfast, perhaps. But what cop, most are men in Ireland, I'm assuming, is going to publicly eat a banana?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then if there is one in the room, just leave the room. Just get out of there. You are an officer. You can say you're out on a call, go to the bathroom, whatever it might be. So, yeah, I think telling someone about it, and clearly they don't have empathy because they don't think it's a real thing. I had never heard of it before. So, they're like, this must be a joke or it must not be that bad. But it clearly is enough for this woman to want a year's worth of an investigation to happen. Really, the only
Must not be a lot of crime in Ireland.
awful thing. I mean, the whole thing is really shitty, but breaking into her locker to play the prank, that's like going a little far.
Yeah, you think he'd be aware of the cameras there. Although maybe a cop station is the one place where they wouldn't have cameras. He's going to commit a crime there.
Yeah, maybe not.
But I equated I mean, like, I think that you would talk about a banana phobia initially to get attention. It's like people who talk about being scared of clowns. 9 out of 10 of them, I believe, well, perhaps might be a little creeped out by clowns. Who isn't? Just do it to seem interesting because they're not, and it's just something to talk about. Maybe the banana thing, and this guy took it a little further. And that the funny thing is that the banana phobia is the new hotness as far as fears are concerned, because I had initially seen a blurb in the paper about the Swedish minister, and when I went to Google the article for us, I was like, "Oh, this story's better." Because that was a more recent one, the Irish cop with the banana phobia, and they mentioned the Swedish minister in it. But it's like, yeah, this one's got a little more meat to it, despite being vegetarian. Yeah, I don't have a huge amount of sympathy for her, even though this guy sounds horrible. But
I wonder, like, what childhood trauma happened to make someone so afraid of bananas.
There was I was very upset I missed it, but in the the donut run, for whatever reason, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile was there, and I missed it. But boy, if there was a banana equivalent, like an entire car shaped like a banana, boy, that would you'd have traffic accidents from people with banana phobia if they saw that on the highway.
I feel like there's probably more people with a hot dog phobia than banana phobia, and that doesn't stop Oscar Mayer from just slutting all over the streets, you know?
Interesting choice of words. Yeah, well, thoughts and prayers to her. I'm told that the cop has been given a new jurisdiction in Greece. Maybe he might meet up with Kimberly. Could be great. Like, this is the meet cute for next year's Hallmark movie.
Wow. Honestly, I would watch.
By the way, I know you. We're going to keep the stuff to ourselves, giving all this free material. By the way, speaking of clowns, I got a recommendation for you. Although knowing you probably already saw it. I don't know if I'd call this a good Chicago thing, but I felt like you the entire 4-episode arc of it. But there's a new documentary on John Wayne Gacy on Netflix. You would like it. The famous serial killer. I'd forgotten.
Did I watch it? I feel like there was one last year.
I think this is newer. There's like new tapes or something.
Yeah,
Nancy Wobbleman was on one, but this isn't that. This is even newer.
Yeah, it's hard for me to keep up.
I
There's
know.
just so many documentaries about my favorite kinds of people, which are murderers.
Mm-hmm. Any other amazing plugs you got going?
Well, I'll do it in a More You Joe. So last week, I went to the opening night performance and party for the play Cult of Love, which is the Broadway play that the theater company I just did the off-Broadway play with that they're doing. And it's a play with music. It's about a family who come back together for Christmas, and there's a whole lot of drama that unfolds. It is a great play. Shailene Woodley is in it. She's an actress who's been in a ton of stuff. Zachary Quinto is in it. I think he played Spock in the new Star Trek. A bunch of other famous faces. And it was really great, especially if you think you have a fucked up family and your holidays are always like stressful and full of drama. This is more so. This will make you feel like your family's child's play compared to the one on the stage. So if you're looking for something to see if you're in New York City, I recommend.
A play with music, but not a musical?
Yes. So basically they play, it's like a family who they're all playing Christmas carols together, like, and they all pick up different instruments and they're all just like, they'll sing a carol and then they'll, you know, go about their dinner, but then they're like, oh, and they think of another song they want to sing. And yeah.
Well, I know the Shailene Woodley girl because she used to date Aaron Rodgers. I think they might have been married.
Yeah. Well, I don't think they were married, but yeah, they were seriously dating for a bit.
Boy, they are. She's like this hippie girl, and he's like,
she's very good in this play, so I recommend it.
Oh yeah, let me know if you got any connections, so I don't have to pay full price.
Nope.
Well,
Bill,
do some research.
What do you have going on? When's your next walking
Friday,
tour?
This Friday, guys. I know what you're thinking. December walking tour. By the way, Bowery Boys rocks. You can find a Turtle Bay tour. It's this Friday, and I've already looked it up. So far, knock on wood, it's going to be like 38, 40. That's nothing here.
Yeah.
Just wear some layers, and it's a fun tour. A buddy of mine and his wife are coming on it, and so you can come for the tour and stay for embarrassing stories about me as a kid. And the good, I don't know if this is a good thing or a bad thing. He said, oh, your tip will be dinner afterwards. It's like, I'm thinking, or I could just have a tip. But, it's still free dinner. So that'd be December 20th, 3 p.m. Go on the site, check it out. It's good. The New York looks delightful. You see the city all decked out, all that stuff. I think I sold it.
Nice. Everyone, check it out. And special thanks to one of our newer members, Stan Turner. You're a real one, Stan.
Thank you, Stan.
That's it.
Appreciate it.
Thank you all. Have a good week. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Apologies to banana phobes out there.
Oh, God.
I'm sure glad that's over.
That's all for this episode of Mornin with Bill and Joanne.
I wasn't even listening. I was listening to podcasts.
Shut up, Bill.
Subscribe to the show on Apple, Spotify, or anywhere you get podcasts.
Yeah, I wasn't listening either.
Very nice, Joanne. Touché.
For videos of this and other episodes, go to @MorninBillAndJoe on YouTube.
Bill, put the sword down.
Run, Joanne, run!
Like, subscribe, and turn on notifications. We would do it for you. Okay, that's a lie.
I never liked your show. Sorry, wasn't listening. See ya.